occasion you may be able to get rid of the E on the end of the base word, but with all of these words you can't because the E is needed. So let's go through and see why it's needed. So the E on the end of size is needed to make the previous vowel make its long sound, the same within like, sizable and likeable. Now in traceable, the E is doing two jobs. It's making the previous vowel make its long sound, but it's also making the C make its soft sound S. So we have to have it there, otherwise it would be trackable rather than traceable. Same with changeable. We need the G to make its soft sound J, so we can't take that away. In agreeable, we need the two E's there to make that long E vowel sound. Noticeable, once again, with all these words we've got the CE. It's making the C make its soft sound S. And if it's GE, it's making the G make its soft sound J. Now in knowledgeable, I've highlighted here too that in knowledge, the E here is making a short vowel sound. So after a short vowel sound, you always put DGE. After a long vowel sound, such as in cage, you just put GE. So do remember that rule, it's quite important. Now in irreplaceable, we've got two prefixes before the base word. So that's quite interesting. You may want to discuss the influence of that on the word, but the meaning is quite obvious. So let's go through and have a look at what else we can see within these words. Now you know when we add able as a suffix to a word, it's forming an adjective. And you know also that after a stop consonant, and B stops as soon as you say it, B, it's a stop consonant, so we always add LE after a stop consonant. So that's the reason that's spelt the way it is. The E on the end is necessary because if we're breaking this up into syllables, the consonant B would stick to the L, and because every syllable has to have a vowel, we put the E on the end. It's not influencing the sound of any of the previous letters. Okay, let's have a look at what these words mean. Sizable means fairly large. Likeable means pleasant, friendly, easy to like. Traceable means able to be found or discovered, and sometimes you might trace over letters or numbers. Changeable means unpredictable, variations or changes. Agreeable means pleasant, enjoyable or pleasurable. Noticeable means easily seen or clear or apparent. Serviceable means usable, fulfilling its function, and it's in working order. Manageable means to control without difficulty. Knowledgeable, of course, means intelligent or well-informed. And irreplaceable means impossible to replace if lost or broken. I would suggest you go through first of all and break these words into base word plus suffix. Highlight the suffix able in one colour, and then go through and highlight the reasoning that we keep the CE or the GE, we're keeping the E in the end of these base words. So sometimes we get rid of the E when we add able, but in each of these words you can't take away that E, it's necessary. So in size and like, we need that E on the end of those base words to make the previous vowel long. In traceable, we need to keep the CE, the E after the C, to make the C make its sound. Same with these other ones that have the CE in them. The GE, we of course need to keep the E after the G to get the soft J sound in those words. So go through and highlight those. It may help you to remember to keep the E's in these words. They are needed. Now we know that after a stop consonant we always put LE. So a stop consonant is any consonant that you say that stops as soon as you say it. So B stops as soon as you say it, so it is a stop consonant. So able, we put LE after the B. Fill in the gap with the missing list word, write the synonym for these list words, write an antonym for the list words. Now write a sentence that includes the list words given, quite easy, and add able to these words. So do think about these carefully before you add the able. Are you keeping the E or not? Okay, first up here you have to write the base word for all the list words. Yeah. Then go back and circle the base words that are verbs, and then write 2 sentences, each of which includes a list word and its base word. Now make antonyms by using a prefix, so think about that. How do you make these words mean their opposite? By adding a prefix to each of those base words. And choose 2 of the antonyms and write a sentence using both. So 1 sentence with 2 of these antonyms in them. Then fill in the gap with a list word, so you've got to finish the dependent clause at the start, and then you've got to complete the sentence with an independent clause. When to change E when adding able? Now this is quite confusing, so you're really going to have to use your memory to remember if you're leaving the E in or taking it away, because it could be either. It's in a change at the moment. So the dominant use for the dominant spelling for lovable is to take away the E. The alternative is that you can put in the E, but this is more common. So likeable, you're going to put in the E because that's more dominant, but able without the E is acceptable, but not as common. So go through and fill in that. You've just got to do the opposite to what we've given you and try and remember the dominant spelling, not the alternate spelling, because this is what we're moving to. So there is no pattern for whether E stays or goes. Why do you think this might be? Well, that's because of common use. So the spelling of these words on this side is becoming more common. This is less common. So we're going for the common use. It could be because it's a UK or a USA rule, a British or an American rule that's starting to dominate, and the changing needs to be more consistent. So that's why we're getting this variable form in the answers. Now adding able to words with more than 2 syllables, drop the E. So adore, you're going to drop the E and add the able. So you can finish those, that's quite easy. But when do we keep the E? Now here, this is all about hard and soft C and G. So if you keep the E there, it's going to make the C or the G make its soft sound, the C S and the G J. But if you get rid of that E, it will go to they will both go to their hard sound, K or G. So just be aware of that when you're filling in all of that section there. Now, other changes to watch for. So you know this, if a base word ends in a Y, you know you're going to have to change the Y to an I before you add the able. And we've already discussed this too, that commonly multisyllabic words that end with an L and we're adding a suffix to them, we're going to double the L. Now here, flame is a short word ending in E, so we're going to take away the E before we add the able.